Andrew's Workshop, Model Engineering Adventures, the Snow Engine. Although I show this twin-cylinder Hoglet engine at the start of the video, it is really about the Snow Engine, which is a magnificent model. It looks at first glance like a tandem compound steam engine, but it is an internal combustion engine with double-acting pistons, a thing of great beauty, and this one is a fine example. Over now to Andrew and I chatting in the workshop, so this is live workshop audio. And the other engine that you've been working on recently, or not so recently now, is this Hoglet thing, which is a bit of a contraption. How well does it run?
It runs all right. There's a video of it running. It runs.
I missed that one. I don't know why, because normally on my TV you come up as a suggested...
It's listed as Hoglet Lives, and I get very excited.
Dear, yeah. Calm down. The thing is, you can't really go wrong in this workshop. All right, it's only a Myford, it's got a very sort of small centre height, but it's got a DRO, digital readout, and it's got the larger spindle. This is the connoisseur model. And then, unlike my horrendous milling machine, which is a Nairrock from about 50 years ago, in fact a viewer wrote in and said, after seeing your Nairrock, I bought one, and mine's in a bit of a state, but it's all right. But that thing I've got, I've never done anything. I bought it at second hand at Part Exchange, the Fobco Star pillar drill, which I really wish I hadn't have done for it, but I've never done anything at it.
You could buy a ship mill that's absolutely knackered, stick a DRO on it.
But I've no room for that. What I'm doing, owing to my recent ill health, which has got a bit better, and fortunately or unfortunately I haven't died yet, but I'm getting rid of quite a lot of my equipment that I don't use often enough to make it viable. For instance, the Smart & Brown is a great old lathe, really good, but I don't use it because it's not indicative of what people have in home workshops. I rest my case. Another Myford, an older one. This workshop is sort of upmarket home workshop. Good quality stuff and a lot of it. This is the great unveiling of a recent project that Andrew's been involved in. It is called the Snow Engine. It's not a snow plough, it's a sort of a weird cross between a steam engine and an internal combustion engine. It has double acting pistons. Anyway, I won't talk about it. Uncover it, Andrew. Let's just have a feel at this thing. It doesn't feel like a steam engine. In fact, it feels very strange. Are you going to run this, Andrew?
I've decided not to. The reason behind it is that having got the Hoglet going is that you do knock them about quite a lot. And it's such a lovely looking thing. And at the end of the day, that's all it's going to do, is just go backwards and forwards.
Let me get some shots of different parts of it, because it really is, it's scarily beautiful.
It was designed by a guy called Doug Kelly.
You will notice that the piping on this engine is rather beautiful. Just to remind you what Andrew's piping is normally like.
The Snow Engine in Florida, the full-size one, is a 400 horsepower engine rated at 120 revs per minute with a 20-inch bore and a 36-inch stroke. The flywheel is 12 feet in diameter and weighs 12 tons. This model is actually a scale model at 0.06 scale. And it was designed by Doug Kelly. Fantastic plans.
It's mind-blowing. I just don't begin to realise how someone could contrive that. It looks like a tandem compound steam engine.
Well, I think it was. And I think because they had free gas, they converted it to run on gas.
Engine, yeah.
You see these, Keith?
Yeah.
I made 16 of those. I only needed 8.
Somewhere in the workshop, and I think it's currently hidden, Andrew has what he calls the drawer of shame. It should say drawer, but it's a mistake. It says draw, and it's full of mistakes. And I used to have a similar arrangement. I used to make things 3 times, and I still do now and again. But these items are very complicated. Have a look at these. I'll put them next to the engine, and I'll point to where the finished ones are. How many did you make?
All 8 wrong.
Oh dear. that is pain.
So the fuel tank for this rotor engine actually has the fuel, then next to it in the same tank is castor oil. And the reason they use castor oil is a total loss oil engine, a bit like a steam engine is. And castor oil doesn't wash out like motor oil does.
And it keeps you regular.
Yeah, and some say the white scarf in the First World War was so that they could wipe their goggles.
Yeah, indeed. I've actually seen that. I've seen a few examples of people in motor racing cars, and they do get splattered with oil.
Yeah, see, the famous one is Sterling Moss, isn't it?
Yeah.
He takes his goggles on, he's got panda eyes, hasn't he?
That's beautiful. It's just too nice to do anything with. The fact that you know it's built right and it would run. You know, if somebody was to say, well, okay, let's give it a run, because I don't think it'll go, but I think that would go. If I turn the flywheel, it's very stiff. It's stiff in as much as...
Well, you've got this mechanical feel from...
And you have compression, of course.
Yeah, against you.
Whereas unlike steam, where with a slide valve system, you generally don't have compression. It's the reverse of compression.
Exactly.
It's pressure.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
That is mind-blowing.
So the piping took about 2 weeks, Keith, to do. And even if you notice down here, I've managed to get it absolutely square with this bottom base. And I've also, with the fuel tank, put that on a magnetic base, so it just sits there. Plus, if I wanted to move it, the petrol or the residue of the petrol is in a bag, and it's just going to sit there.
It's worth remembering that this is not a steam engine, and all the piping, and there's plenty of it, contains the water to cool the engine, as well as other pipes from the carburetor.
And it goes around the jacket, up through here, back and back into the...
Have a look at this on Andrew's Model Engineering Adventures channel. The build of it made me feel ill. I stopped watching it after a while because it was just to think about doing that. If someone said, oh, I've got this snow engine, can you repair it? I said, no, definitely not. I'm incapable of that. I know my limitations, I know what I can do, and I'm not capable of doing this sort of work. I think it is a thing of immense beauty. He even made the carburetor. The only things on this engine that are commercial items are the adjustable drip feed oilers, the ignition system parts, and the wonderful miniature distributor. I really can see why Andrew doesn't want to run this and get it dirty and oily and messy. It should spend its life in a glass case. It's definitely built to museum quality and standard. And that is it for the video about the snow engine. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.